Magic circles, an evocative image well known in popular culture, from ancient observations on sacred geometric principles to diabolic imagery of conjuring devils inside a pentacle, like that of Goethe and Christopher Marlowe's Faust and Dr. Faustus, respectively. This concept has captured the imagination of many, but I've been tossing around an idea in my head in regards to the archetype of magic circles themselves, the language used to activate them, and the ponderings over what exactly is being summoned. Aside from the circle itself, it requires an incantation of some sort, typically to work, an assortment of magical and possibly archaically Latin verbs and jargon that taps into the primordial essence, perhaps echoing the concept of the biblical God speech. For the word was with him, the Logos, explicitly singling out with the first sentence on the latent power of creation held within words, language, and thus sets off a magical chain reaction in accordance with the intent of the magic circle. It's fundamentally the same reason that grammar, grimoire, and glamour are all etymologically connected. Magic is rooted in words, with spells being literally spelled out. Famous examples of magical phrases, with only one permitted Harry Potter spell for reference: abracadabra, alakazam, open sesame, hocus pocus, wingardium leviosa. Even Macbeth's weird/wayward sisters, literally the archetype we now associate with witches, seem to be enchanting their cauldronal soup with their famous reciting of double, double, toil and trouble, fire burn and cauldron bubble. So say you speak your magic words in your magic circle, but what if it was all made the more powerful with magical speech? Speech referring to the way in which we express words, such as speaking in reverse instead of forward, encompassing how we deliver and arrange the words. Enter Epanalepsis, a rhetorical device to mean a repetition of a word or phrase with intervening words setting off the repetition, sometimes occurring with the phrase used both at the beginning and end of a sentence, like in Shakespeare's King John, quote, "Blood hath brought blood, and blows have answered blows." That's actually a double Epanalepsis right there. From the Greek to mean resumption, repetition, and from George Puttenham's 1589 Art of English Poesy to mean echo sound, the slow return. More Shakespearean examples. From Richard III's A Horse, a Kingdom for My Horse. King Lear's blow winds and crack your cheeks, rage, blow. Or to use another figure that we reference a lot on this channel, from Philip Sidney's Astrophil and Stella, I might, unhappy word, oh me, I might. Visually, this slow return back to the same word is itself like completing a circle, a grammatical circle perhaps. I reason it would make the magic all the more potent to layer several symbols on top of one another for greater effect. No irony here that I've used Shakespeare and Philip Sidney as my examples, especially since Shakespeare, let alone Sidney, have been recognized as providing a plethora of colloquial English spells, aka new words, aphorisms, adages, etc. Magic, as succinctly put in an interview I did with John Michael Greer recently, explains that magic is a change in consciousness in accordance with one's will. Consciousness, as per Freud and Jung's work, can be spoken to subliminally with symbols and archetypes. Manipulate the symbols, you manipulate the consciousness and perception, and thus the cognition. Words are hypersymbols, a culmination of semiotic building blocks. I use Shakespeare as an example in this espousing on Epanalepsis because if I understand Francis Yates' work on the Globe Theatre correctly, where plays of Shakespeare would have been performed, and that the Globe was based on Vitruvian architecture principles, then it undoubtedly takes the shape of a magic circle or sigil from a bird's eye view. The drama stage has transformed into a captivating realm where actors have become true magicians, performing a meticulously choreographed ritual on a grand magical sigil, all before an enthralled audience. Intentional or incidental, insidious or innocuous? Does it connect at all to the alleged motto of the Globe Theatre and echoed in another Shakespearean line, totus mundus agit histrionem, or all the world's a playhouse? Later to be in Shakespeare, all the world's a stage. If you share my paranoia, I ask myself, what kind of speculations can we entertain with this setup? Can these performances encircle and trap our hearts and thoughts within certain boundaries and conditions? Like these performances create a firewall for our thoughts to not be able to breach the boundaries of? Perhaps they are entity summoning devices. And I don't mean literally fiery, satyr, devil-like creatures with pitchforks, but maybe those of the daemons of the mind, like anger, wrath, fear, loneliness, doubt, paranoia. We know that art can have a powerful effect on us with everlasting impressions. Your mind's eye can be hijacked with others' ideas, beliefs, will. Tomorrow is another day. No, I am your father. You talking to me? You can't handle the truth. Why so serious? I will avenge you, father. I will save you, mother. I will kill you, Fjolnir. To be or not to be? That is the question. Simple phrases, packed together with drama and experience, can stir up a host of emotions and be conjured to waken consciousness, or dreaming for that matter too. Did any of these lines resonate with you? You might not have even have seen the piece they're from, yet I imagine a GIF played in your mind's eye when you read them off, or perhaps you heard a haunting playback in your psyche's ear. I believe we should be wary of this emotional mechanism within us, and understand to what extent it can be manipulated, specifically by words, and truly ask, what Trojan horses do we allow into ourselves when we are held entertained with these plays, movies, media products, etc., video games? Or maybe I didn't go far enough for some of you, and they really are summoning entities of brimstone. But I'll leave that up to you to decide. Similar to the horror film The Skeleton Key, recognizing the manipulation is half the battle. Just be careful not to confine yourself within that magic circle. If you enjoyed this video, please consider supporting our work with the links down below in the description, whether it be through a Venmo donation or Patreon exclusive benefits. Thank you.